Good evening and welcome to the latest edition of Top Shelf Nerds, brought to you by That's Not Canon Productions. And this evening we once again have myself, Buck, joined by the DJ
Hello.
and the Professor. So, first up this evening, sad news is Stephen Hawking. Professor, do you want to lead us on this one?
Okay, so a day or two ago, Stephen Hawking, 78, I believe. Let's pull up
76.
the 70s, which more than 50 years longer than his prognosis. It'll be interesting if I remember a few years back reading that some study found out how he lived so long when he had disease. I wonder if he decided to his body.
Be interesting. I'm going to put down to sheer stubbornness and so forth.
Yep.
Well, that's it. Like, my father was told he was going to be in a wheelchair back years and years ago. He was told he was going to be in a wheelchair within 5 years. 30 years later, he's only just gone into a wheelchair. So pig-headedness and stubbornness do have some pretty remarkable health benefits.
Yes, and related to that, the game EVE Online, they've held a memorial for him because Hawking was huge into this sort of faster than light travel, physics as well as, and a lot of it. So players have created a memorial in a player-run cemetery and held basically a fireworks setting off cyno flares, which light up the sky, create bright stars. So players got together and held a memorial where they would set off those. Nobody decided to take the opportunity to kill anyone.
It's like the day of rest.
Yeah, the players are EVE Online respectful when it comes to that, though.
Yeah. I think he's touched. I think the beauty of Stephen Hawking is he has touched a lot of people intellectually with his works. He has touched a lot of people. Like even through the tough times, like he has inspired a lot of scientists and intellectuals to discover new theories, new technologies, new wonders of the universe. And him passing leaves a huge vacuum, a very huge vacuum. And like now with Hawking passing away, who's going to carry the mantle?
Sure, someone will emerge. There's always different people. Like he's the latest incarnation of the science guru that replaced Albert Einstein, who replaced myriad others. Cream always seems to come to the top and is recognized.
Okay,
and
how about
they here's one thing that has to be noted though. All the top science people that we all know and love and have contributed the most all have great senses of humor.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Einstein apparently used to play practical jokes. Stephen Hawking used to run over people with his wheelchair. I remember seeing a thing with him on the red carpet somewhere where he ran over someone's toes because they'd been giving him a bit of a hard time. Jim Carrey, that was it.
Sorry about that interruption. Just a dinner call from the drunk football fans from upstairs.
Oh, did they bring you some pizza?
No, I've got to go upstairs to get my food.
Okay. But okay, how about guys we know like Neil deGrasse Tyson, for example?
Well, I don't know that Neil deGrasse Tyson has Stephen Hawking.
But he has the same
it's more than just the sense of humor. It's also like the science, like the love and the passion of science that Hawking and Einstein had is what made them so great. The humor was just, it's just part of who they are.
Yeah.
I'm just looking here at one of Hawking's quotes. My advice to other disabled people would be concentrate on things your disability doesn't prevent you doing and don't regret the things it interferes with. Don't be disabled in spirit as well as physically. Yeah, that's come from a guy who's been stuck in a wheelchair and needing a computer to be able to talk to people.
Yeah, and as I was saying, like as I said, that Hawking's passing leaves a huge vacuum in a sense where we don't have someone to take over. And how about Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye, for example? Those two, you reckon they'll take his mantle?
No, I think Bill Nye's past his prime. His new show was nowhere near as popular and stuff. And Neil deGrasse Tyson's known for hard to work with.
And Bill Nye's not a scientist on the same level as Hawking with research and so forth.
Yeah, but they're really they touch people. Well, not literally, but they touch
I
people
say you
in
can
a
get in trouble for that.
but they touch people in a sense where like social media and through social media and whatnot, like Neil deGrasse Tyson goes on his YouTube appearances, and Bill Nye has his Netflix specials, and always appears on social now and then.
Uh-huh.
But that being said, though, Stephen Hawking is also quite a celebrity in a sense. He's been on countless TV shows, and my favorite part of Stephen Hawking was when his appearance on The Big Bang Theory, when Sheldon Cooper submitted a paper to Hawking, and Hawking says there's a boo-boo in page 2, and Sheldon goes, "Oh gosh, golly, I made a boo-boo, and I did it in front of Stephen Hawking," and Sheldon fainted.
Yeah. Honestly, there's so many different bits and pieces about Stephen Hawking. That just he's not going to be he's never going to be forgotten, and he's not going to be easily replaced.
Nah, no way.
He used to joke about the fact that the downside of his celebrity is he can't go anywhere in the world without being recognised, and because of who he is, he can't just wear dark glasses and a wig. The wheelchair gives him away.
Yeah, and the voice.
Well, he could probably change the voice a bit, but
yeah, program it with Microsoft Sam.
But yeah, you're right. Like he will be remembered for a very, very long time. He'll be, and I think his legacy lives on. His legacy will live on forever and ever. And I don't know whether you guys saw the movie The Theory of Everything.
I think I did see that.
I never got around to it.
That was a beautiful biography of Hawking right there.
Is that the one with Benedict Cumberbatch?
No, it's Eddie Redmayne. It's the one with Eddie Redmayne as Stephen Hawking.
Okay.
Yeah, you leave Cucumber Patch out of this. He's got to go make a salad.
You mean Crumpet Patch?
No. We're not asking for your date from last night.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
you got to have respect for Hawking on another level as well. He was being interviewed back in 2011, I think it was, and he was saying, "I've lived with the prospect of an early death for the last 49 years. I'm not afraid of death, but I'm not in any hurry to die. I have so much I want to do first." So, as we said, just there was too much science to do, too many other things to be focused on.
I'm just looking at some of the quotes from some of the stuff from Hawking, and wow, like I said, his legacy will not be forgotten. I think they'll build like a statue in his honor around where he lived.
Isn't there already a statue about him somewhere?
Probably not. But like I said, he is a great man. Was lost one of its titans.
Anything else you want to add on that, Professor?
I have had a look. Yeah, there is actually a statue of him, but I don't know what to add.
Okay. Yeah, I remember seeing something about a statue of him. Isn't it on top of the Guildhall or something?
I'm not sure. I'm waiting for the article.
Yeah, it's a statue on the top of the Guildhall
at Cambridge or something. Yeah. Which is pretty intense and special because that's one of the longest, most respected places of study.
Apparently, they're thinking of making one of the train stations named in his honor.
Okay.
I remember, I think it was late last year, his original doctoral film, I'm sure is, I haven't, but I'm sure it's very into science.
Okay. Anyway, so long, Hawking, and may your travels continue, and may your legacy inspire. In other news, I saw an article about the NVIDIA Technology Conference. I'm not sure if you guys have seen anything about that at all.
I haven't. What was announced?
It's something I've never actually heard about it before, but it came up when I heard about the Intel Developer Forum collapse. So that's no longer happening, but the NVIDIA's GPU Technology Conference has become the strongest event to showcase the near-term future of technology, where they allow small focused startups to pitch their ideas and compete for a significant cash prize.
Okay, so it's a general tech announcing thing.
No, it's NVIDIA runs it and sponsors it to help generate new technology.
Okay.
Big news this year was one company was well along the way to create an electronic human machine interface with big implications for prosthetics.
Oh, that'll be get done. I know it's been in the works for 10 or 15 years, designed many years ago that could hook into some processings, but it's always been a bit clunky, slow. So it'll be interesting if this is addressed, how well it will work.
Apparently, some of the people that are involved with the Inception conference, or I think it's called, or the Inception event, which is the startup presentations, is Cisco, Morpheus Labs. There's some Ghost Robotics. We were talking the other week about the Boston Dynamics robot.
Yeah.
Costing upwards of $150,000. Ghost Robotics has a platform that costs about 1/10 that amount.
No way. No, there is
and providing capability in a smaller offering that will be far closer to something that could be sold in volume. And it's a four-legged robot that can even handle uneven surfaces and climb steep inclines.
Oh, Boston Dynamics has some competition now.
And I gotta
The Robot Wars.
say, I like the name of the company too, Ghost Robot.
I'm just looking at the article here. It's saying higher reliability and greater intelligence. This would make a far more interesting robotic dog to terrorize your cats.
I like that idea already.
You're not a cat person, Bucky?
I don't mind cats, but I'm just thinking more along the lines of a robotic dog to chase away the door-to-door salespeople. Can we expect to see K9 running around the front yard?
Oh yeah.
if the outer body is made from the Doctor Who K9 model, I'm all for it.
Well,
The classic
that
one,
was
not the new one.
Yeah, unfortunately, the original one was on wheels. Well, it's just a remote control car with the body sitting on top.
Yeah,
But
and had
this
a habit
one,
of getting stuck.
so with the four legs, it's going to be a bit more. What was that movie with the? There was a movie I remember seeing with a robot chasing after some people and had four legs. Yeah, it'll come to me later on tonight. I'm just thinking it's going to be a lot of fun.
But I just think this whole I think so. Those are the winners.
Well,
or are they the
there's a list like looking in different areas. So there's like AI, computer vision. There's medical stuff. So there's using AI research as part of imaging systems for MRI to reduce substantially the time it takes for the imaging to be generated, stuff like that. So it's right across the whole thing. So that bio-augmentation systems. So it's actually pretty impressive. Don't know how I've actually missed this one. It's one of those things you like to have a look at with a lot of the bits and pieces that are happening.
I would like to imagine with the bio augmentation system. Can you imagine transferring your consciousness to Android later on?
Well, we're just hoping we can transfer an intelligence into you. Looking at some of the stuff on the bio-augmentation, they're looking at trying to reduce the cost of a exoskeleton-style system from $50,000 to well under $5,000 and cheaper, which is pretty good. I've actually seen some exoskeletons that allow people who are stuck in wheelchairs to actually be able to get up and walk around. So that'd be a good thing.
I'm looking at it here as well. So I can create interfaces to machines like fighter jets, exoskeleton, remote robots, and even potentially operate body parts remotely, like physical therapy for coma victims or long-distance space travelers in partial stasis. What was that?
That was me dropping something.
But yeah, I wish they'd bring it now. They should bring it now just to.
Well, I think they've got some of the stuff happening. They're just trying to make it a little bit more user friendly and reduce the cost involved.
Yeah, that's the big thing, the cost.
Yeah.
And not to mention the law.
Well, the law isn't going to be as much of a problem to overcome. It's more the actual physical cost of a lot of these things.
Even the ethical side of it.
Well, most of these people are very ethical people. Like the amount of hoops you got to jump through for scientific research these days is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I know at my university, well, I was talking with someone and they were looking at research into support networks for people considering suicide and stuff like that. It's been before the panel being reviewed for the ethics for over 8 months.
Oh,
So that's just to get the initial panel to ask what are your support networks for people at risk.
I was a guinea pig in a study for game development a couple of times. One study was artificial intelligence PCs, and the other study was measuring your stress response and develop more fun.
Okay.
And even those, you had to sign all of the
Yeah.
documents.
Well, I know when I did my undergrad, I actually had to conduct some experimental research for a number of different things. And we actually had to have stuff that was put before the review by the ethics panel at the university before we could do it. And that was just like in one case, it was a simple questionnaire survey. And there was no recording of who the person was. It was just the details. And that was a month and a half before the review panel. So, yeah, the level of ethics involved in research these days pretty stringent.
Do you reckon do you reckon all this will hamper the efforts of these companies?
What, the ethics?
Yeah.
No, because all it makes them do is look at what they're doing to make sure that they're doing it for the right reason. So it's a lot of the stuff for the ethics is about the manner of experimentation, that sort of thing. So as long as they're not jeopardizing somebody's safety and well-being, there's not likely to be too many issues with ethics.
Yeah.
Like, easy way to look at ethics is if you were doing this and your mum found out about it, is she going to slap you up the side of the head and send you to bed without supper, sort of thing? Which is one of the phrases I remember hearing when looking at ethics from one of my university lectures, and it's stuck with me. Like, if what you were doing appeared on the front page of the newspaper, would you be embarrassed? Are you breaking the law? And if your mum found out about it, would you be in trouble?
Oh, that's good. That's a good analogy.
So if you feel confident in those areas, then you can take it before the review panel without too much stress. But if you have any hesitation in response to any of it, go back and look at what you're doing.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So yeah, no, it's just this article, this showing about this conference. I'm just absolutely blown away. Yes. So moving on to our next topic, nanoparticles improving vision. I think that was you, wasn't it, Professor? Talking to us about that one.
So this article is about some Israeli who have developed a technique to correct your vision in a procedure you can perform at home. You take an image of your eye and then use a laser to basically burn channels, cornea, and then apply some eye drops containing nanoparticles, which will fill in the gaps and form the perfect lens shape so that you see clearly.
Okay.
Oh.
I happen to be out of stock on my lasers at the moment. Is there a particular one that they want us to use?
The article doesn't say anything about what laser it is. The tests, the procedure is a lot safer than regular laser because you're doing minimal existing tissue.
Wait, but laser eye surgery has a 99% success rate, though.
Yes, but because it's a milder treatment, it's still safer. You can do it at home. You need to go in, be effectively blind.
But if you go into a hospital environment, you got someone waiting on your hand and foot in the bed, so you don't have to get up and get your dinner and so forth. You got someone else there to do all that. That's half the joy of going to hospital. Well, actually, it's pretty much the only joy going to hospital.
That and the nurses.
Great.
That and the nurses.
Actually, I have to disagree with you on the food part. My dad spent time in hospital at Christmas, not just gone, but the year before, and they actually had barramundi.
Oh, nice.
So I was actually quite jealous. He had the choice of barramundi and sirloin steak and stuff like that. So I thought I actually offered to swap places and he could go home and I'd stay in his bed. Sitting in an air-conditioned room with a nice view and a menu like that, I was quite happy to stay there. and I generally hate hospitals.
But yeah, this thing, it's procedure.
But they're not talking about the resolution of the quality for the smartphone's camera.
Yeah,
So,
that'll probably be requirements.
because that's
Yeah.
going to have a massive impact. Like the quality of the image is going to. Let me
Hello?
fix. Yeah, the quality of the image produced is going to have a direct impact on the quality of the surgery, so to speak.
Presumably, they will limit you models that are verified cameras, though.
Yeah, but like, don't get me wrong, I love the idea.
Looking at this
I'm
again, it
just
might not actually.
very. No, they're saying smartphones.
Yeah, but it could be the sort of thing where you look at the display and touch where you think you.
Okay, just looking through some of the details on the article now.
What strikes me about it is going to be how they are going to deal with the age. Is it going to be like a certain age they're going to use this procedure, or are they going to?
Well, I can't see any actual limitations on age at the moment.
I don't think there's any reason why you.
At present, the experiments have only been conducted ex vivo and not in vivo. For those who don't understand technical talk, in vivo is in life with the person, and ex vivo is on dead things.
Oh, so that's pig eye.
Yes, well, they're the closest you get to a human, so
Yeah.
genetically that's they're more white mice, and as far as the eyes are concerned, the pigs are closer.
They could have used chimpanzees because they're close as well.
Yeah, but it's then you get into the ethical issue as well.
Right.
Because chimpanzees are regarded as higher.
But it's also, when you look at the genetic structure, the genetic structure of the eyes of a pig are actually closer to human than some of the chimpanzees.
Yeah.
There's unless you're looking at like the Colobus monkey, most chimpanzees have got a bit bigger stretch in the DNA comparison than the pig does to a human being.
It probably also helps that it's relatively easy pigs compared.
Yeah, I agree with it. Yeah, because pigs are so many pigs. But with this procedure, do you reckon this will hike up the cost of having laser eye surgery, or do you reckon it will just decrease the cost of laser eye surgery as it is?
It'll probably reduce the cost because it's making it easier for them to do it.
Well, it's a different procedure of going in for the full permanent of laser eye surgery. Well, I suppose it'll get cheaper because it's competition this temporary but still equal treatment.
Well, I don't know if it'd be temporary because you're actually using a laser to carve channels into the eye.
The article says that because it's such a mild procedure.
Okay.
So this will be one to watch.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They didn't say anything about lifespan for this whole procedure, so yeah, you might be right. This will be one
says every few
months, eh?
You have people going for you have some of those ladies going for their Botox injections and eye wash.
Yeah. You could use it as a.
I'm just looking at some of the article here. They're hoping to move into in vivo tests within a year, so that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
So I wonder how I would like to see this. I would like to see this in Australian shores pretty soon.
Well, it's still got to get through all the initial testing and development back over in Israel. So yeah. Now let's see what we got. Bill Gates and his bioweapons.
Yeah.
So
Bill
what's
and
happening?
Melinda Gates came out at the South by Southwest convention to announce that one of their biggest fears is bioweapons and bioterrorism.
Okay, I can understand that.
Well, with what happened recently in England, it's understandable.
Well, that was in Irvine, but what they're worried about is that bioweapons are extremely available.
Yeah.
There's also the tailoring to specific DNA and targeting with some of it as well is getting a little bit kind of scary.
Yeah, there's a great book by Frank Herbert about a biotech called The White Plague. Basically, the scientist has his wife and children IRA, so he creates a virus that will only kill children and women because he wants everyone to feel the pain he feels of his family.
That's one way of ending the human race.
Spiteful, but fair.
But with all this like the outbreaks that DJ was talking about. We've got the recent outbreaks of Zika and Ebola.
Yep.
I would hate to see a combination of those being merged and and converted to an aerosol delivery system.
Yeah, the great thing about, well, I say great thing, weird way to put it, but the great thing about a lot of Ebola is that are relatively hard to.
But the question would be, will the vaccines be available by then? Because when the Ebola hit in Africa, there was it was mass panic. It was just mass panic.
Well, the reality is even with the vaccines, you don't have a great chance of surviving with Ebola.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that if you get it, you're in a very small group if you do survive. It's like the bubonic plague back in the day that wiped out a massive section of the population, and the pandemic of 1918 with the influenza. Yeah.
And even bubonic plague is one of those ones that's fairly spread in unsanitary because it fleas, rats.
Yeah.
And luckily, it's a rat that aren't as common anymore. But it does still exist really nasty. If that got back in circulation, or even smallpox confirmed in labs.
Well, the other thing also you have to wonder is, as I'm reading this article, it's also about the terrorists when they get their hands of it. I'm just thinking about the subway attack that happened in Japan years ago.
Yeah.
So I was wondering.
Yeah, that was a nerve agent again. That's the reason why I was saying about the aerosol delivery system for Ebola and Zika. The fact that they aren't contractable by an aerosol manner is one of the only blessings about them. If they were contractable in an aerosol delivery system, you could wipe out quite a large percentage of the population of the planet.
Yeah, but what other vectors could they use though? Like besides aerosol, like could they use it? Could they pollute through the water supply, or could they pollute it through?
No, not for those. Aerosol would be easiest, and then you would just. I remember reading a book about this once. Setting it off at airports because you have people. That's all right. Are you okay?
Yeah, computer doing.
We might be scaring it. We might need to move on to another topic if we're scaring the computer.
What were you saying about aerosols?
I was just saying about how it would be imagine if these weapons get into the hands of a terrorist, and I initially thought my mind flashed back to the subway attacks in Japan.
Yeah,
sarin.
Yeah.
And that was a nerve agent, so that was created to be spread in an aerosol manner. And I was just saying, if Zika and Ebola were weaponized into an aerosol delivery system, that could just be spelling out the end of the world.
Yeah.
Because you could plant canisters in airports in the US and Europe, and you have so many thousands of people going through the airports on a daily basis that you would spread it around the world very quickly, and you kill off a fairly sizable percentage of the population.
Or imagine, I know this may sound like a weird scenario, imagine spraying a couple of canisters to a farmland, to like corn or
But
wheat.
if it's aerosol, it's not going to be an issue.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
It dies off.
Oh, okay.
It needs to be in a living host compatible. So, like I was saying about bubonic plague, the rats that carry bubonic plague are less common now because they're outcompeted by other rats.
Sorry about that, folks.
He'll be with us shortly. But yeah, I think you're right. The aerosols are a perfect form of.
But Ebola's a bloodborne pathogen, so spreading it on wheat isn't. It's just going to die. It's not going to sit stagnant and wait.
It's not going to be dormant. Unless they time lock it. Unless they put it into a time lock.
And put you into a time lock.
That's depends on the virus or bacteria, but some of them can form.
Yeah, but that's not likely to happen with Ebola because it's a bloodborne pathogen. It's not likely to be able to be maintained in that position. But moving on to something a little bit happier and less confronting, and is not going to get us being raided by the CIA and NSA and so forth, which we do hope that they continue to leave the DJ alone.
And I hope that if they watch our podcast, they enjoy it.
Yes, we know that they're listening. Yeah, moving on to something a bit more fun. Fantastic Beasts. I've got a new movie. There's a new movie coming out for that, and it's The Crimes of Grindelwald trailer is coming out pretty soon. With the release of the movie, it's already out, is it?
Yeah.
There's a new trailer coming out though, apparently. Just trying to. I had the release date here just the other minute. And
I believe it's November 16th for the full movie of the.
That's I was thinking it's November. I just can't see the actual date.
We Muggles will get to return to Hogwarts when Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald arrives in UK cinemas on 16th of November.
Okay. Another little side note on that is apparently there's a pub open in England that has got a Harry Potter theme.
So this will be interesting. Another Harry Potter movie. Well,
no. This is pre-Harry Potter.
Yeah, this is about the events that happened 70 years before the main series.
And from what I can understand, in the new movie, they're going to be having an introduction to Dumbledore.
Yeah, Dumbledore's sort of original appearance as a fairly young man in the Harry Potter series. Years old, correctly?
Apparently, correct me if I'm wrong, I've heard a rumor Jude Law is apparently going to play the part of the young Dumbledore.
Yeah.
That could be interesting.
Well, he is a very accomplished actor. I think he'll pull it off.
I like him.
I've seen some criticism that they're picking big name actors to fill in. They have the money to do it in a massive series because they use them. Well, they have Johnny Depp as Grindelwald, and some people were sort of interested if they're picking.
Well, I have to say, Johnny Depp's a pretty good method actor in a lot of ways. I think he's a method actor, but he always seems to embrace his character and really go after it pretty well.
And interestingly,
I feel like I've only ever seen him play his the character from Pirate, Captain Jack. I feel like he's only character Pirate movie.
No, he's. I've seen him in a lot of different movies, and yeah, he's a subtle approach to a lot of it, and a lot of people are typecasting him into that sort of character more, but he does have the breadth, and he's a very, as I said, very subtle. So hopefully he'll do it well. Jude Law, I have almost no reservations about for his part.
And interestingly, guys, Eddie Redmayne, he also played as Stephen Hawking, is also in this movie as well.
Yes, the Viscount Matt Smith.
Ah.
That's all I could think watching the first Fantastic Book, just like Matt. He even seemed to get some of the mannerisms from Matt Smith.
Ah, well.
Do you reckon this will be? Do you reckon this will be a good movie? Because I've heard from the first movie, people were like, yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, but you're going to get that about every movie. There's one thing you can be guaranteed about in life other than death and taxes is there's always going to be a whinging, complaining know-it-all about everything.
Especially when a prequel, which loves to see.
Yeah. It's like, wasn't there a petition you mentioned to me once there, DJ, about some people trying to get
The Force
Disney
Awakens.
to remove The Force Awakens from the Star Wars series?
Oh yes, there was a petition. I don't know how many.
You were telling me at the time there was apparently 80-something thousand people had signed it.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I should go back to check out how many people they've taken it now. So it'll be interesting.
But 80,000 people out of a world population of 7.7 billion. I don't think Disney's really going to pay much attention to them.
Yeah, it's made them their money. They don't care.
And everyone else is enjoying the movie. There's too many self-indulged. Yeah, I better just stop there.
Oh, okay. So I've gone to the page now. 100,606 people have now signed it.
Yep. So
how many tickets has it sold?
It's rising. It's going up as well.
Yeah, but how many tickets has the movie sold?
I think it sold more than 100,000 in the first hour.
Yeah.
So even if that many people have signed it, still a tiny everyone who's.
I know, man. I still have my reservations about Last Jedi. I've rant on for a few dozen minutes about it, but we've it would not end well.
And that's why
Well-
we're not going that topic.
Nope.
Yeah.
Getting you to rant.
Nope.
It's well, let's just say, Force Awakens was $2 billion US for the box office. Last Jedi, 1.32 billion box office. So there's more than enough money, even with 100,000 people who aren't happy with it. Even Rogue One was over $1 billion. So Disney's making money.
To give
People are enjoying the movies. So
I don't know. I just hope the next Star Wars movie will just repair the damage from The Last Jedi. That's all I'm gonna say.
And now we know the DJ's opinion on it and whether he signed that petition or not.
yeah, I think he wanted me to sign it, and then he started telling me stuff about it, and I just I think I scared him with my response. Because there's nothing wrong with Star Wars. Go away,
Really?
you Marvel hippie.
Really? I could come up with some points.
No.
Yeah, but
No,
would they
no
be valid
ranting.
and worth listening to? No.
Has the DJ ever said anything worth listening to? No.
No. Is he saying anything worth listening to now?
I don't know. I can't hear him.
Silence is golden.
I don't know.
Oh, he's worked it out.
Yep. All right.
So let's move along before we end up having to shoot the DJ, even though that would be fun. There's a lot of stuff in the media lately about the about the shootings and all that at the school and the protests, and there's a lot of narrow-minded idiots talking about the fact that they're related to video games and violent video games, etc. But research is showing that it's completely opposite. Who was it that brought this article out?
That
was
would
the
be
DJ.
me.
You've actually brought me something worth reading for a change too. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. So apparently, a psychologist has researched saying that 80% of mass shooters did not show an interest in violent video games.
Well, it just says in video games here.
No interest in no.
Yeah. So in other
So-
words, if you see a child playing a video game, especially if it's Call of Duty or something like that, they're not likely to become a mass shooter.
Pretty much. He also pointed out it seems like that should make us safer. So it's a totally understandable reaction. He further points out the problem is just the science. The data does not back up that they actually have an effect. So,
That's
I-
is it Dr. or Professor Markey?
Patrick Markey. It says psychologist Patrick Markey. So
Yeah, but he teaches at one of the universities in America. He's a professor, Dr. Patrick Markey, professor of psychology, director of the Interpersonal Research Laboratory at Villanova University.
Dr. Patrick.
Well, he's a professor of psychology, not just it. So he's a doctor, but he's also a professor in the academic sense. He's achieved the hallowed rank. So yeah, he's actually written a book on the subject as well called Moral Combat, and it's based on actual scientific research.
Link for this book we provided as soon as the show is over.
Yeah, he has a book that he's co-authored called Moral Combat. It's available online on Amazon, and you can get it on your Kindle.
And it's
But-
provided before the show is over because you're not watching this live.
Yes, it's available now.
Scroll down to the topics section.
And there's a link to the Amazon page where you can buy the book. And I have to say, I kind of respect him because one, I've studied psychology, so I know how hard it is. And two, he's based research on facts about video games, and he's saying these politicians and the media are all a bunch of numbskulls.
But what do you think about the whole, like, even with this backed up data, even with all this data, the victims are all going to say, oh, that's just propaganda. And Trump, our dear old Trump will say, I'm still going to meet these video representatives and say that your violent video games are causing this.
And you'll probably get the video game makers reaching into their pocket and bringing their hand out and flipping them the bird and say, yeah, you're an idiot. Go check the facts.
But yeah,
The easiest response to this is the time-old adage of, What was Attila the Hun playing?
What was Stalin
Hitler,
playing?
Stalin, Pol Pot.
I don't think these guys were playing violent video games, and they were pretty vicious and so forth. What was Harold Bluetooth playing when he came across and impacted war on Europe and committed mass murders in the name of invasion? What was William the Conqueror playing when he invaded England? And I'll tell you right now, anyone who says fighting with a sword is the gentlemanly age, I hate to break it to you, but stabbing you with a foot of steel or crushing you with a foot of steel doesn't tend to cut through. The swords that the English knights were using and the European knights were using weren't sharp as a razor. They were just a sharp beveled edge.
Yes, a razor sharp edge doesn't do a very good job breaking through armor.
No,
No,
it
it was
wouldn't.
more of a 30-degree angle or a 45-degree angle on a lot of the swords. And yes, that's more of a crushing blow than a slicing blow.
But back to the story though. What strikes me is how how the attorneys are seeing all this.
Yeah, I remember seeing something earlier on today about some stupid politician in America jumping up and down and saying about, oh no, it's video games are behind it all. And yeah.
One thing that strikes me is how I like how all these ideologues and politicians and media personalities are all saying that something that people use as to relax themselves is now inspiring these people to kill others. That's insane. That's like saying, "Oh, I had a bad day playing Candy Crush. Okay, I am going to have a murderous massacre."
Well, actually, looking at the demographics of people who play Candy Crush, it's actually more likely that they're going to be a mass murderer.
Yeah, but how many of them will actually go?
facts.
Yeah, but how many of them will actually go into the middle of a city hall and say like, "Oh, this Candy Crush game sucks. I'm going to kill everyone because of it."
Well, considering the fact that I know that a lot of the people I know who do play that are middle-aged ladies with teenage children, I wouldn't put it past them.
Statistically, almost all are middle-aged ladies. That's the market of Candy Crush.
So the DJ's now... Oh, DJ, don't you play that?
No.
I thought you played that.
Of course he denied. Or she. Your disguise has failed.
We haven't... Also, at the present time, we also haven't received any requests for entry into the competition to win a date with the DJ, by the way, folks. Please don't leave him hanging. That's been the problem for most of his life.
My God.
And as we said, as long as you're human, we don't care whether you're male or female.
Honestly, are we that worried about being human?
Well, just only on the legal ramifications.
Fair enough.
We don't want to get in trouble for cruelty to animals.
Oh, you too.
They were a good band.
Yeah, before Bono decided to become a showman himself, and
No, it wasn't the showman part of it. It was more the fact that he went on to do the whole... he was the savior of the world.
that's what Bob Geldof said before he started all the Live 8s.
Yeah, well, Bob Geldof got some interesting drugs, I think, somewhere along the line.
All right, let's call it.
Really? Who's
Yeah.
hosting the show this week?
Oh, it's you.
It is.
But,
Are you sure?
Actually, before we go on, I do want to say this though. All these moments, like the gaming, in terms of gaming, we had with the loot boxes, and now with the violent video games. Do you think all these moments are big watershed moments that's going to affect gaming in the long run?
Yeah. The loot boxes. I don't
Yeah.
expect there to be a huge blowback from the violence connection because we've been arguing this for 20 years and it just doesn't change.
It used to be violent TV shows and cartoons. Now they're
Before that,
blaming...
violent comics.
No,
Yeah,
yes.
It's just the latest thing to beat up because we're not kowtowing to what they want. Let's blame this because, well, we don't enjoy it, and it's easier to blame that rather than actually go look at the fact. So when you got scientific research that shows that violent video games aren't connected to violent behavior, and that you still have idiots trying to say, "Oh no, it is." Yeah.
Well, that's the thing though. Like when you look at shops like Target, for example, when they banned the GTA because of violence towards women and because of violence, and people were saying there is no correlation, yet the other side is saying there is violence, and yet big companies had to kowtow to them, like, okay, we'll stop selling GTA in our shops. Do you think we'll ever have that scenario in place?
No, because there's companies that don't care about bowing to whatever the latest panic is, and will continue to sell products like GTA.
And most of us nerds look at the reality and the truth of what's happening and base our decisions upon that rather than just, well, generally not upon the stupid hype of some idiot.
I agree with you.
So yes, so yeah, definitely, folks, get your entry in to win a date with DJ for Valentine's Day next year. He will be taking you out for dinner somewhere. We don't know where yet. It won't be Macca's though, or KFC. We have to get him away from KFC.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
it's not good for his circuit. The grease just
Oil.
really clogs stuff up.
But-
Every now and
but-
then you need to open them up and scrape it out.
Yeah, but it works well on my joints.
I don't know. You were squeaking a bit the other day when you're doing something in the other room.
Anyways,
Don't say it. You're not hosting. It's not your show to end.
I know.
And I'm actually purposely just keeping it going now, folks, just because
Oh,
it's
no,
fun
no,
to tease the DJ.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just looking at. I'm not saying anything.
Oh, you said you're not saying anything, but you kept talking. Well, folks, just like to say good night. Have a great week, and thanks for listening. It's goodbye from me.
See you next time.
Have fun, guys. Cheers.